G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today going to take you through a couple of World Championship style race simulations that I set up on Indie So just completing the warm-up now. This is a pretty standard warm-up that I'll do for most races. You can have a quick look there at the zones. Working through the zones until pretty much feeling ready to go. You'll also notice some nice fresh aero kit up in the top left there, delivered yesterday by Mackay Cycles. So looking sharp, ready for the season in that. Basically, the plan of this one was to set up some races that pretty much mimic the World Championships route. So I've got a 3 banner points race set up here. You can see the elevation profile, and I'll put up the actual World Champs elevation profile to compare. So the goal was to find the routes today to see how they kind of function, so that before the worlds I can do some more practice on races like this, because I don't think there's going to be all that many opportunities to use the UCI routes on my whoosh before the worlds. All right, about to get stuck into the action. We've got 50 riders, 49 bots, and myself. Uh, Slight downhill early on, and then at about the 4K mark of this one, we hit the climb. So a bit of a sprint to the first banner, and then a bit more climbing to the second banner. Kind of how the UCI route does that. I ignored a banner that is on the downhill, and then I've just got the double points for the finish. Exact same point system as the World Champs. So hoping to be able to use this one as a good hit out. Can see down towards the bottom of the track here, 5 guys have actually got away. I'm actually a little bit concerned here. I don't know really who the main contenders are, but from my recent races on Indy Villo, I found that some of these early breakaways can actually stick, and it's quite easy to sit in there and be part of them without doing too much work. So that was the plan here. Got up onto the back of this group, and then I think we started climbing with a bit of a lead. So we're about to head into the climb here. There's a group of 9 of us taking it here. There's a steep section coming up. So the plan was to kind of keep my speed high and momentum high over this first part, because the bots usually take off very hard on these hills. And you can see the chase group at 10 seconds really starting to, which included all the climbers, really starting to get involved. Full trainer difficulty here, so you can see the cadence. I'm not really on top of it yet, but starting to get into that now. You can see within 900 meters of the banner, so it's a bit of a drag going to happen. With this little gap here, the plan was just to settle into like a reasonable amount of watts, to to make sure that if I did get caught, I still had some left to go over the top. But so coming into the final 200 meters before the first banner, and I've got a bit of a gap over Robert Kennedy, who I saw in the pre-race list was one of the favourites. So the climbers have started to distance themselves here, which is a bit different to what will happen in the first banner at my whoosh, but I'm racing bots here, so that's not a problem. Dips up here into the banner, got 14, 15 seconds. I'm feeling very comfortable, to be honest, and in control, just kind of tapping over 400. Again, kept it pretty steady the last kilometer up to this banner. I've opened up a bit more on them, so I'm going to take the points pretty comfortably. Heart rate's still well in control. So one bit of feedback I'd have on this race is that it's probably too easy compared to what the MyWhoosh equivalent was last time. But we can always, just go all in as hard as we can in a future race. I think the course certainly mimics very similar to the demand. So I think that's probably been like a 5 minute, maybe 6 minute climb-ish. 3.3k to go, little descent to the finish. So our plan was now just to grab the win, probably save a bit of energy for the second race. Coming into the last 300 meters here, I've put it on the top of a bit of a kick because if it was a close race, I know the Maiwush finish is on a bit of a ramp, so trying to simulate that, but no real need to against this competition here. Taking the perfect score for the first race. You can see here, this little screen tells me that my race rankings have all slightly improved. A few points for each of them. Always good. Just some analysis of the power from that race and the results. So 80 points, Robert Kennedy second on 76. You got your average and max powers and your normalized there, as well as your heart rate. So 342 normalized isn't that difficult for me for 14 minutes. There's the analysis and the power curve. So I think there we've done 409 for 4 minutes, which at this stage where I'm at isn't particularly difficult. And we'll join the pen for the next race. All right, can see the elevation profile along the bottom there. I've ignored a lot of banners for this one and just went with the four spread out on top of the steeper hill of the course. The Worlds route, which I'll put up here, has 4 laps heading up about a 50-second kicker to finish each lap for points. The hope was that this kicker would be somewhere similar to that. And I know that this one can be a pretty savage course on the North Lake Loop. Heading into the start, on the right, you've got the rankings. I'm ranked 11th. Tinte Kong, the favourite from China. So keep an eye on him. He becomes a real threat as the race goes on. Out of the gates, I'm certainly feeling that full trainer difficulty impacting the race. And there's a banner after the first K, so it's going to be a pretty hot start. Timing on these ones with these little rolly ups and downs can be important because you need to try and carry a bit of momentum off the downhill, or you can get absolutely distanced. All right, a few of the guys have come from the back here with more momentum than me, so it's time to get going. Cadence is a little too high for me here, so we're hoping that the steep gradient kicks it up and slows that down. Watts are coming out pretty well. You can see the banner there, but there's 2 banners, which actually confused me a bit. One of them's the finish line, one of them's the points banner. So I thought, okay, yep, sweet momentum, we've got it. But no, the points banner was here. I got over geared, and the Cypriot, I think that's what you call people from Cyprus, grabbed the points, and I got second with Tinte Kong down there in third. But that was a nice little punch and kick. I don't reckon it was 50 seconds. Probably a bit less at those kind of powers, but still, probably similar to what Indivello might have to offer in terms of routes, because this one can be pretty constant the whole race, depending on when these riders come through with momentum. Then you've got to kick back up a lot of the time. So now we've got 4.4k to the next banner because from here on in, that hill only every second time will count to make it 16 kilometers, just like the Worlds. So coming down that hill, the next lap, there's a bit of a breakaway group happening, 4 or 5 guys up the road. I'm not carrying much momentum through here. This is still a good opportunity to kind of lift the power on this climb and get a bit of fatigue in, even though this one doesn't count for points. This breakaway becomes a bit dangerous because I can see on the points table that Tinte Kong is present, and is the favourite. So obviously, if he gets up the road, and it could be game over. All right, we're crafting our way into the second. 450 meters to go. We've kicked up into the 700s. Ting Tay Kong's group's still up the road, so here we go, trying to really kick it into overdrive now. I've got more power than most of these bots, but Ting Tay Kong still up the road, 3 seconds. I'm catching him. I'm going 10k an hour quicker, but he's got a massive lead. Am I going to get there? I'm pushing. He's got me. So through 2 segments, Ting Tay and I both on 38 points. So given that he seems like the strongest bot, with one more point segment and a double points finish segment, this could be a real King Kong battle, or ding dong battle, as we often say. That was a shit joke. One thing I notice as we continue is that Ting Tay was really strong and constantly pushing up at threshold watts, getting gaps on the rest of the field. So he was obviously a big bot, with lots of watts. So from here, I just wanted to follow him regardless of what others did. He kind of kicks up to try and follow this attack from the bot from the US. So I just jump in the wheel, make sure I'm there. Still a while to the next points banner, but I want to be there, sitting on his wheel, so I can try and out sprint him at the next one. So as we head over the banner, this one doesn't count. Someone's just kicked over the top of us. We're in 3rd and 4th place. You'll notice that Ting Tay gets into his work pretty quickly here, and it takes a fair little push just to jump in the draft again. So had to do a little kick up here to try and get up to these guys ahead. I thought that if I could get with these 3 or 4, it seemed like Ting Tay was starting to tire a bit. Might make him work hard to close that gap, but he was fine. He closed it without issue. He was certainly the strongest though, and we got ourselves a gap heading into this 3rd sprint. Given that I was fully in his draft here, I was fairly confident that if I crafted it correctly, I should be able to take the points here. You can see the 86% draft still, as we're heading up into the last 300 meters. I'm still in control here of this one. Ready to launch if he has something extra. He looks like he has a bit extra, so I kind of jump back in his draft and kick it up to the top. You look very guilty, Gwen. There we go. Grab the win. So we're 1 point ahead, but with the double points on offer at the finish, that means that if he beats me and I get second, he'll win the day. So heading up into the last 2 kilometers, I've jumped across to Ron Crane over the top of that climb. Got a gap on this ding dong battle that I've been having here. Seeing if I can escape his grasp. But the peloton, you can see that group behind. There's 10 riders at 4 seconds. They've got the momentum, and they will close us down before we head into that last section, which I'll take you to now. So someone's kicked over the top here, Max Roman. A few of them are coming with a lot more speed than me because I was ahead of them. I think Kong is a bit tired though now, and we are into the last sprint. So the watts are up over the 800s. This is feeling like a really good effort here. On top of the gear, back up over to 900 briefly. My speed's fantastic. Power's pretty good. Now I've just got to try and get to the line to finish this effort off. Gear's starting to get pretty heavy, and we take the win, take the 40 points. 376, 377 normalized going up there. That's a pretty solid little 20-minute race. Tinte got rolled at the finish by the looks of it because Lassie Schmidt has came through for 2nd place overall. Kind of shows what double points can do. There's the race rankings for the event. So grabbed another couple. Was a nice call that I'm on at the moment too, by the way. Can't disclose too much. So results of the ride, 98 points. That was a good hit out the second one, even though the times maybe a little bit too short. It was a nice race. Probably also a little bit more like stop start than the worlds will be, but still a pretty good one. 25 seconds there at pretty high power, best in a while on Indy Velo, so that was good. 8:26 for 25 seconds, fairly good. So there you have it for today. The goal was to find some courses that mimic the worlds. I think I found a couple of pretty good ones and got some good training out of it. I've had a few videos on the back burner, but they haven't really inspired me. One was a training week, one was a things I like about Indivilo, and one was how to set up customize events on Indivilo to suit what you want. But none of the three have really done it for me. So if there's anything you'd like to see, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.